crown me, you crown me.
Welcome back to Happily Ever After, guys. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. I promise you I'm going to get it right. But yes, as promised, a part 2 of the in-law conversation. I think there was so much to talk about that
still
we
a
really,
lot.
really, really needed to come back. What did we touch on last? It was
Yo, I'm still like there because there's like so much.
the
I'm like,
speak up and
yeah,
how I think I said last, us as the woman coming in to support the situation.
Yeah.
Because more than anything, it almost feels as if, hey, you the one that's being attacked,
Yeah.
kind of a situation. You know, I've been watching on my social media, someone said just recently that it's very hurtful. And I think I really need to say this. So hurtful that we have gotten to a point where women are fighting other women in the name of, I don't know, ungumakoti, you've come into my family. It's a whole lot of things. I've seen certain people who actually refuse to call their in-laws. They want to call them in love, kind of a situation, because they've had such an amazing transition and they just feel like, hey, I blended in as part of the family, this and this and this and this and this. I do need to point out though that we all talk about marriage growing up. We share it with our families. Hey, this is who I'm going to marry. Hey, I might come home with a white girl. Hey, I might come home with a black girl. Hey, she might be Indian. You know,
Interracial, yeah.
a whole lot of it. And you have these conversations with your family growing up. But when that day comes, I don't think anyone is ready. I think it's like a difficult thing. I think we had some issues with my parents in the beginning with
No,
the
look,
lobola and
look,
how we
no,
wanted to
look.
blend in
I think
the son.
overall, our beginning journey was actually quite.
Rocky.
No, it was good. It wasn't bad. Look, we sat my mom down and said, "Look, Ma, I know like pops has just passed away and all that, but I'm ready for the next stage." And it's not like I was young, you know. And I felt like for me, this is the next level that I need to step up to,
Okay.
you know. And for her to say, "Okay, cool," she wrote a beautiful letter to your parents, you know, delivered, got my uncle to go deliver it. So even the approach where we approach your family, I think set the tone for it to be good. Because in all honesty, when it comes to in-laws, me personally, I don't have an issue with my in-laws because, you know, but here's my point that I'm trying to
No,
make.
but be honest. What is your experience with your
No,
in-laws?
it's been great, but here's the reason, and I feel like it's a big reason, is the respect element. We came in with respect.
Babe, that's very broad. Do you
Okay.
feel I got lash
No,
from my in-laws because
no.
I didn't come in with respect?
Look, there was always respect even for you. There was. When did it come? Like the hiccups come. It was close to just after the second lobola, where there was now other interferences that kept playing in terms of certain family members.
Okay.
But overall, okay, how's your relationship with your father-in-laws?
No, my relationship with my father-in-laws is good.
How's your relationship with even certain cousins of mine,
No, that's
my
good.
siblings?
But that's why I'm saying I don't think where we disagree, love, is where I don't think it was, hey, I could have come in with respect, or hey, you could have. Do you know what
But
I
I
mean?
think that plays a
I
big
think-
role, though.
But I do think it's a person thing. I do think it's very much a person thing. I think in life, if you go to a drive-through and you decide, hey, today I'm going to treat this lady like she's serving me, that is a person thing. You don't have to. That's the truth. You don't have to go, hey, Sissy, how are you? May I please have? Kind of a situation. And a lot of the time, that person will be giving you like the worst attitude. They are having the worst morning. This is what's happening. But it's a choice for you to respond and say, hey, I'm actually not going to respond in this manner with this person. I choose to treat.
Granted.
I choose to treat this person in this manner, kind of a thing. So yes, I agree. I think things culturally went the way they were supposed to go, the way they should have gone, and respectfully. But obviously now you weren't going to choose uncles that were just going to botch things for yourself.
No, well, and I mean, commend respect to my uncles. Mwah, I love you guys. You know, they did the things, you know, even they came out of there going, yeah, no, we did the things.
Yes,
You know?
you
And
know
it
what
was
I
a good
mean?
family, and I think they were like, no, it's a very good family. Son, don't mess up. Because they sat me down, they're like, hey, when son, you mess up, we will beat
But
you up.
let's also
And
be
vice versa.
honest. If I felt that at any point in time my father was going to botch things and ruin things for our lobola negotiation, I would have sat him down and said, Dad, people are coming, but you most probably won't be. Can we please have uncles mang mang or uncles mang mang? Do you know what I mean? But my dad's a pastor, so he does a whole lot of marital counseling. He does a whole lot of advice in this manner. So, but I want us to be realistic about things and say, black families, stop it. Do you get where I'm coming from? We cannot use just try harder. Like you cannot use certain things. Like for instance,
Elaborate as to what they need to stop.
okay,
What?
wait. During the negotiations, remember there was a whole your family wanted to pay a cow for my son.
Yeah, as to how we do things.
Yes, because culturally that's
yeah.
what's done in your thing. So
Yeah.
my dad didn't understand this.
I'm Tonga, by the way. She's
I'm
Xhosa.
Xhosa, yes.
Yeah.
So my dad didn't
We
understand
never-
this.
Yeah.
So he didn't understand this. So he was like, pay a cow for a child. To him, it was the whole lobola thing.
Yeah.
But when we spoke and I was like, hey, this is going to happen, he said to me, yeah, great. Got it, kind of a situation. Then he went into the negotiations and he's not even telling me that no, actually he changed his mind. No more cow. Now he comes back. Now I'm hearing from somebody else. I called my parents out on that. I was like, hey guys, let's have lunch, let's have dinner, let's talk
Yeah,
about things.
yeah, but you see,
This
I
is
think
how did we get to
that
this?
now becomes a relationship thing because you have that relationship with your parents. Now there's other situations where you find that the parents go extreme, and obviously as a couple you always agree as to
Yeah.
what's going to be on the table, you know. So for example, in our instance, we knew young.
This is what you were being charged.
Yeah, this is how much I was being
This and this and
charged
this.
and everything. So I could brief my uncles, hey guys, this is probably how much I'm being charged. I've budgeted for this much. You know what I mean? Where now we have negotiated offside. Now the family on the day now they see whether the uncles come in a Porsche, whatever. Not the dollar signs come out, greedy eyes come out, and it's like, we're gonna charge.
But you see again,
5 times the
that's
amount.
a person thing.
No,
That's why I say
yes.
we as
No, but
black
listen to what I'm saying.
people-
Listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, okay, sharp. You had that relationship to go to your parents and say what you did was wrong. And he was able to amend that in the finalization part.
yeah.
Where others will be told, you're just a child, step away. And they don't have that relationship to step up to their parents or their fathers to go, hey, Papa, 1, 2, 3 is wrong.
And I agree. I completely agree with you. But the part where I say we need to stop is for the next generation. I can't particularly do anything about the previous generation, but I'm a mother of 2 boys. Am I now going to treat my future daughter-in-laws like, do you know what I mean? Like, hey, you guys probably don't have brains or opinions. Sit in the kitchen or whatever. And I'm not saying that's what happened with me, but I've heard a whole lot of stories like that. I had a friend of mine, oh gosh, such a sad story. She used to tell me that they lived in the back of her in-laws' house. So every single time she'd go through the gate and she's holding plastic packets, the mother-in-law standing outside wanting to see what she bought. Like, come on, guys.
Hey. You see,
Tabang. Do you see what I mean? And that's why I'm like, it almost feels as if, and this is why I'm like, I wish I could write a book. I wish I could.
No, it's women on women violence.
Chairperson of the woman. Yes.
That's just
speaking
woman.
to my fellow women.
Yeah, that's woman on woman violence.
Why are we going out of our ways? And for lack of a better word, and I know it's a very strong term, but why are we going out of our ways to bully other women? And younger women at that. I know in our experience, I think it was after the first lobola, one of, our cousins walked in, your cousins walked, and I was walking past her in the passage. And she was like, well, my God, I'm ready now for my food. And sharp, it could have been a joke or whatever it is. And thank God you were right behind me, where you were just like, no, like what gives you the right to speak to this person?
I stood up.
You see,
so
that's why I'm like, it's a lot of the times to draw the line. Where do we draw the line of, hey, I'm dealing with people that are going through pain, or hey, because I think even without grief, The whole transition of, hey, our son is now going to get married, live somewhere else, for any other family, it's a big change. So I'm going through that pain and whatnot. But how do I also draw the line between, you see, now I'm being, like, now they're taking me for a ride kind of a situation. Do you know what I mean? But for me, what I have learned, let me speak for my side. What I have learned, and it didn't take me tonight to learn it. It wasn't an
Took some
overnight
time, yeah,
situation. It
took
took some
time.
time. And I still don't think I have it right, was to protect my peace. So important. So important for me to protect my peace. I had to get to a place of saying, hey, God, I'm here. I'm available. These people know that I'm available. And if anyone ever needs me, I will be available. However, Lord, you need to get to a point of having to understand that I cannot put myself into the position of I'm going to be crying every single time. Do you know what I
No, and I
mean?
think, look, the timing thing worked
Yeah.
in our case because, it also allowed the dust to settle
Yeah.
and everything and then get back to a place where it's okay, cool. What went wrong? How do we move
Yes.
forward? Kind of a thing. And also being aware to say, okay, next time we need to watch out for
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. So yeah, but in general,
Yeah. In general, yeah. We still work on it. I don't think it's going to be like a
yeah,
fixed
look,
thing. I think it's a continuous thing. But like I said, so important for me to stress to my fellow wives is, hey, hang in there. There's a saying, like the older people say in my culture, where they'll be like, hey, sisi, pila ngedolo, kind of a situation. As in, continue praying, hang in there. However, not even however, together with the fact that please support your husband, because none of this is easy for him as well. None of it is easy. There's no way. And this was another thing that used to break my heart. It's like having to watch you, like, look and feel so conflicted. Like, and I'd be like, that's not what I want. That is not at all where I'm like, now it feels like, because even if it was said or it wasn't said, you felt like someone was saying choose. And no one was saying it. I wasn't going, well, you must choose. And the other side wasn't
well,
going,
I
well,
mean,
you
it
must choose
eventually
kind of a
feels that
situation.
way where it's
But
like,
the
what do I
actions,
choose?
yes, you see. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you need to be so supportive. So what I had said in part one was, for my peace of mind, I chose to rather remove myself, kind of a situation. But that's obviously not a permanent thing, because you as my husband had already expressed that you want unity. And
I think any man does, like,
I think your ideal picture of unity is, hey, let's have Sunday bries,
yeah, and
twice a
both
month.
in-laws. For me, it's father-in-laws come
Hey,
through,
we're doing
mother-in-law come through,
birthdays, we're doing this. Hey guys,
and I
Christmas
think
is at our house
and I
today.
think it's also important for the growth of the children, because looking forward, it kind of is for me to say,
Yes.
understand your history, because a lot of the times we find that, for me, there's a rich, stronger history that I might not be able to give my kids, but
Yeah.
my mother's able to give it.
Yeah.
There's a closer side of our history for the kids, where obviously you might not be able to give them, but the grandparents are able to give them. So I think it's very important to have that unity, so that the next generation is also aware of where they come from and where they're
Yeah.
going, so that we continue. Because now there's a lot of westernness that's coming in, and people are losing culture. We're losing a lot of who we are
Yeah.
through that. And that's where I feel like parents play such a big role. You know what I mean? And that's why I think it's so important to find common grounds,
Yeah.
to find understanding in unions of marriage. You know what I mean? And I think people need to start looking at the bigger picture rather than just focusing on
So important.
me, or you know what I mean?
So
Let's look at the
important.
bigger picture and saying, okay, what are we teaching the next generation?
Yeah.
We've got 2 boys. What are they learning? You know what I mean? Am I teaching them from things that I know, which is also limited, because obviously there's those certain things my mother knows or my uncles know that they can share with them.
And that's why I'm saying, for me, it's so important for me to, like, moving forward. I think the change should then come in. Just moving forward. That's my passion. Can we just do better? just moving forward.
I think as well as, and I think for me, I'm gonna appeal to the older generation. So
Okay.
the older generation, I would say, if you are 79 down, born in 1979
Oh,
downwards,
1979.
start listening. And I think a lot of the times that generation, when I look at it, it's like, this is how things were done, this is how it should continue, and you see it with the 80s group where there's a level of frustration where it's like they want to express themselves, but they deal with a generation or parents that didn't listen to them,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. And I think it needs to start changing now. That's why your screws, they're very out here. They're like, hey,
What do you
man.
mean? We have to deal with them.
These aren't screws. They're something else. Whatever level that's coming off the screw, that's what we're dealing with. But, they're more expressive. You know what I mean? But I think they lack a certain something. They lack a certain respect element,
Yeah.
which is where the balance needs to come in. And I think we're such a key generation where we bring in you can be outspoken, but in a respectful manner.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need to try and establish and get right
Yeah.
as the next generations as a whole.
I agree.
So I think that's the best way to describe it. Look, it's going to be a taxing journey. And anyone who's dealing with with the in-laws in not such a pretty picture, for lack of better words, I don't have words for it. But yeah, if you're struggling with in-laws basically right now, I think it's going to be taxing, but try and get to those places. And I mean, if your husband, speak up to your husband, and he either needs to step up, support each other, communicate with your wife. Because I do see a lot of the times, like there's one couple who's also experiencing in-law issues, where I feel like the guy's putting a lot of pressure on his family to come to the party, but his wife isn't willing to come to the party. So it's things like that where, guys, you also need to speak up to your wives. As much as, yes, you choose your wives, you cling to your wife. If they're wrong, you need to call out. Like, babe, this isn't the way I see things. This doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? And yeah, we just need to stop being scared of speaking up.
But also, as wives, keep an open mind. I think I completely agree that there may be a solution that, like I said, I removed myself. It wasn't a permanent thing. But I've heard stories where people are like, now when they did this to me, I never went back. I just stayed my, do you know what I mean? And by keep an open mind, I mean, keep an open mind to find a healthier way to kind of come back, introduce yourself, kind of a situation. I think with that, we're going to have to put aside a whole lot of pride, because I do think it's a pride thing. I think it's a pride thing where you don't want to pick up the phone first and make amends or apologize where you could have hurt somebody or all of that, But obviously you do all of that, you try it all and you see, but keep an open mind. I think with this subject, because it's such a
it gets
heavy
deeper.
subject,
It gets deeper.
I would say my advice would be, don't make permanent decisions.
Yeah.
On, hey, I'm done, I'm staying away. These people are still your family at the end of the day, and you wouldn't do it with your family, so don't do it with your husband's family, kind of a situation. So yeah.
It's a lot. Look, this one, I think this one's just deep. It's a lot. Maybe we'll revisit it another time. But for today, I think we're
good. We're good.
I hope you guys took in a lot. I hope we could share and help if you're going through struggles with your in-laws. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe, comment, share. Yes, we got it. What? But cheers, guys.
I am who you crown me.